What if tweaking just one tiny detail in your daily coffee routine could naturally stabilize your blood sugar levels before you take your next sip? There's critical science you need to understand that could completely shift how you manage your metabolic health. This isn't some fancy proprietary supplement pitch, and I have zero products to sell you today. We're only talking about the simple pot of coffee sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now, plus one overlooked factor that makes or breaks its glucose balancing benefits: exactly when and how you pour that cup each day. I'm Dr. Richard Ben, a practicing medical physician. Over the past several years, I've closely monitored hundreds of patients living with prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, with a heavy focus on adults aged 60 and older. The insight I'll break down today has genuinely transformed how dozens of my patients regulate their blood sugar long-term. Brazil is currently battling an under-recognized metabolic health emergency. Official data released by the National Ministry of Health confirms diabetic diagnoses have surged 135% within less than 2 decades nationwide. Today, nearly 20 million Brazilian citizens live with diabetes. Government health surveillance system Vigitel's research reveals an alarming reality. 30% of all seniors over age 65 carry the condition, equivalent to 1 out of every 3 elderly people. This statistic is far higher than most ordinary citizens realize. What troubles me most during daily clinic visits isn't solely patients who already hold a formal diabetes diagnosis. It's the massive population hovering right at the borderline: persistent elevated blood glucose, unexplained crippling fatigue after lunch, unrelenting thirst that never fades. Many of these individuals remain undiagnosed, or they've received a diagnosis yet feel helpless beyond taking prescription medications and waiting for their numbers to shift. Stick around until the very end of this video. I'll walk you through a zero-cost, tiny lifestyle adjustment that delivers massive, measurable improvements to glucose management. First, let's unpack a widely unknown truth about coffee and your body's sugar processing system. Picture your pancreas as a small internal manufacturing plant tasked with generating insulin, the vital hormone that unlocks body cell membranes, allowing glucose to flow inside and convert into usable energy. When you finish a meal, carbohydrates break down into glucose that enters your bloodstream. Your pancreatic factory activates, secretes insulin, and cells absorb circulating sugar seamlessly. This is how healthy metabolism operates. Trouble begins when this pancreatic plant gets chronically overworked. If your diet regularly consists of foods that send blood glucose skyrocketing rapidly, your pancreas must operate at maximum capacity non-stop. Over months and years, your body's cells gradually lose sensitivity to insulin. The pancreas is forced to pump out larger and larger insulin volumes just to achieve the same basic sugar-lowering effect. And this marks the onset of insulin resistance, the primary precursor to type 2 diabetes. Now, where does coffee fit into this metabolic equation? From a biochemical standpoint, coffee is an incredibly complex, nutrient-dense beverage housing hundreds of biologically active plant compounds. 2 specific components stand out in peer-reviewed medical research: chlorogenic acid and trigonylline. Think of these 2 compounds as built-in intestinal traffic regulators. If you consume coffee prior to eating meals, they slow the speed at which your gut absorbs dietary sugar, creating a steady, gradual release of glucose into your bloodstream instead of a sudden, overwhelming sugar spike. This gentle, controlled glucose flow lets your pancreas function without overtaxing itself. A landmark study published in Diabetes Care, conducted by researchers from Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health, analyzed health data from over 1 million global participants and reached a striking conclusion that stuck with me upon first reading: consistent coffee intake correlates with drastically lowered odds of developing type 2 diabetes. This protective effect is far from minor. It follows a dose-dependent pattern. Within safe daily limits, each extra cup of coffee you drink further cuts your diabetes risk. Then, in 2018, research teams at Sweden's Karolinska Institute, one of the world's most prestigious medical research hubs, performed a comprehensive meta-analysis reviewing 30 separate studies covering nearly 1.2 million total participants. Their findings validated that regular coffee consumption, both caffeinated and decaf varieties, reduces type 2 diabetes risk by roughly 30%. Yet there's a pivotal detail almost no health content creators cover. All these protective advantages hinge entirely on how you prepare and consume coffee. Brewed improperly at the wrong hour or loaded with additives, coffee can actively worsen your blood sugar struggles, and I witness this exact harmful pattern constantly with my clinic patients. Take Mr. Arnoldo, a 72-year-old retired lifelong coffee drinker who'd enjoyed the beverage since he was 17 years old. He arrived at my clinic convinced he maintained all healthy habits, yet his lab work painted a worrying picture. His fasting blood glucose measured 138 milligrams per deciliter, and his HbA1c marker, reflecting average blood sugar over a 3-month window, hit 7.1%, well above the healthy target range. He told me straightforwardly, "Doctor, I follow every health rule. I drink coffee daily and walk 3 times weekly." I asked him to walk me through his full coffee drinking routine step by step, and the root of his unstable glucose quickly became clear. Every single morning, immediately upon waking with an empty stomach, he chugged a large mug of strong black coffee. At 3 p.m., he enjoyed a second cup paired with sweet biscuits, and sometimes poured a third serving before bedtime, claiming it helped him unwind. These 3 routine habits are the critical mistakes I'll break down for you below. Mistake 1. Chugging coffee first thing on an empty stomach. This is by far the most prevalent error, and it inflicts the biggest metabolic damage. After an overnight fast spanning 8 hours or longer, your body's baseline cortisol levels are already naturally elevated. Cortisol acts as your primary stress hormone, produced by adrenal glands during emergency or high-stress scenarios. This hormone signals your liver to discharge stored glucose into your bloodstream to fuel your morning activities. It's a natural evolutionary survival response. Caffeine amplifies this cortisol reaction drastically. It overstimulates your adrenal glands, triggers extra adrenaline release, and prompts your liver to flood your blood with even more glucose, all before you've eaten a single bite of food. The end result? Your blood glucose surges 20 to 40 milligrams per deciliter upward without any carbohydrate intake at all. I've reviewed continuous glucose monitor lab reports from dozens of my patients that confirm this sharp spike. A research paper printed in the British Journal of Nutrition formally validated this phenomenon. Drinking black coffee on an empty stomach after overnight rest creates a measurable, significant rise in morning blood sugar values. Mistake 2. Adding sugar, artificial sweeteners, or heavy cream to coffee. This additive combo seems harmless on the surface, yet it completely negates coffee's metabolic benefits. A single teaspoon of table sugar sends your blood glucose surging instantly, canceling out the stabilizing work of chlorogenic acid you just consumed. It's equivalent to lighting a match and immediately dumping gasoline onto the flame. Many people turn to artificial sweeteners as a supposed healthy workaround, yet modern research contradicts this assumption. A 2021 study featured in the journal Nutrition demonstrated that synthetic sweeteners, including aspartame and sucralose, disrupt healthy gut microbiome balance. The trillions of bacteria living in your intestines play an indispensable role in glucose metabolism, and altering their natural balance creates long-term barriers to consistent blood sugar control. Crucial 2025 research data released in January, published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition by Harvard Public Health researchers, analyzed 3 massive long-term American health cohorts and delivered clear takeaways. Plain coffee with 0 added ingredients cuts diabetes risk by 10% per additional daily cup. However, Mixing coffee with added sugar erases nearly all of this protective metabolic benefit. Translated into simple, actionable advice: eliminate all sugar from your coffee. It's a tiny shift that delivers outsized results for glucose stability. Mistake 3. Consuming coffee late in the afternoon or before bedtime. Caffeine boasts a 5 to 6 hour half-life inside the human body. This means if you finish a cup of coffee at 3 p.m., half of that caffeine compound remains circulating through your bloodstream by 8 p.m. Lingering caffeine sustains elevated cortisol levels and disrupts deep, restorative sleep cycles. Quality nighttime sleep is the window where your body completes a large portion of its glucose regulatory processes. Poor sleep quality directly translates to unregulated blood sugar, creating a self-perpetuating vicious cycle of metabolic imbalance. After I walked Mr. Arnoldo through all these metabolic mechanisms and we restructured his coffee schedule together, his lab numbers shifted dramatically within just 8 weeks. His fasting glucose dropped from 138 down to 112 milligrams per deciliter, and his HbA1c fell from 7.1% to 6.6%. We made 0 adjustments to his prescription medications, no extreme restrictive diet overhauls, and no mandatory gym workouts. Only targeted tweaks to his daily coffee habits drove this powerful improvement. Now I'll outline the science-backed optimal coffee drinking schedule to fully unlock its glucose-regulating advantages. Before diving deeper, a quick request. If this health breakdown has provided valuable insight, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have dozens more evidence-based health guides scheduled for future uploads that can transform your metabolic wellness. Drop a comment below sharing which region of Brazil you're watching from. I love seeing where my medical content reaches across the country. Back to our core topic: how to time and prepare coffee for maximum metabolic support. First, optimal window: breakfast time. Not the very first thing you consume after waking. Start your morning routine with a full glass of plain water. Wait 30 to 60 minutes after rising, then eat a protein-rich food: scrambled eggs, a slice of natural cheese, or unsweetened plain yogurt. Any complete protein source works perfectly. Only after eating protein should you brew your coffee and drink it completely plain, with no sugar or artificial sweeteners added. Why prioritize protein first? Dietary protein buffers caffeine's cortisol-boosting impact. It supplies amino acids your liver uses to regulate energy production efficiently, blocking the unnecessary liver glucose release triggered by excess cortisol. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology confirms consuming protein prior to carbohydrates and caffeine drastically reduces post-meal blood sugar spikes. If you want to amplify coffee's glucose balancing power even further, stir half a teaspoon of pure cinnamon powder into your mug. Cinnamon contains plant compounds that partially mimic insulin's function, helping body cells absorb circulating glucose more readily. A literature review printed in the journal Nutrients found regular cinnamon intake creates mild yet consistent reductions in fasting blood glucose levels. It's not a replacement for medication, but an excellent natural metabolic ally. Second optimal window: pre-lunch coffee, little-known metabolic hack. Drink a small cup of unsweetened black coffee roughly 20 to 30 minutes before your midday main meal. The chlorogenic acid inside coffee acts as the intestinal sugar traffic controller I referenced earlier, slowing how quickly your digestive tract absorbs carbohydrates from your upcoming lunch. This directly blunts the dangerous post-meal glucose spikes that act as one of the primary triggers for developing insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. A study carried out by researchers at Brigham and Women's Hospital, an affiliate of Harvard Medical School, and published in Diabetes Care, confirmed coffee's core active compounds, chlorogenic acid and trigonelline, create measurable reductions in blood glucose and insulin concentrations within the first 15 minutes after carbohydrate consumption compared to a placebo control group. This metabolic advantage is tangible, scientifically proven, and costs you absolutely nothing to utilize. Third optimal window: post-exercise coffee. Do you take daily walks or participate in regular light physical activity? Pay close attention to this tip. Within 30 minutes of finishing your walk or workout, drink a cup of plain black coffee. When your muscle tissue is active or freshly exercised, muscle cells become far more receptive to circulating glucose, acting like sponges that soak up excess blood sugar to fuel recovery. Caffeine amplifies this glucose uptake process, enabling muscles to clear sugar from your bloodstream with greater efficiency. This narrow post-workout metabolic window is a wellness opportunity most people completely overlook. Regarding safe daily coffee volume, the World Health Organization, alongside nearly all global clinical nutrition guidelines, confirms 4 to 5 small coffee servings per day are safe for most adults following a balanced lifestyle. The Karolinska Institute's meta-analysis of 30 studies found this exact daily range delivers peak diabetes protective effects. That said, every individual's caffeine metabolism is genetically unique. If coffee triggers heart palpitations, nervous anxiety, hand tremors, or nighttime insomnia for you, your body breaks down caffeine at a slower rate. In this case, limit intake to 2 daily cups, or switch to premium decaffeinated coffee varieties. Decaf still retains chlorogenic acid and nearly all of coffee's metabolic benefits, minus stimulating caffeine. Let me share another patient success story to illustrate how this coffee adjustment shifts glucose outcomes long-term. Donna Sullivan, a 68-year-old retired school teacher, visited my clinic with a 3-year formal type 2 diabetes diagnosis. She took metformin daily yet struggled endlessly to stabilize her blood glucose readings. Donna was a model-compliant patient. She never missed medication doses and cut back on rice and refined carbs, yet her HbA1c stubbornly lingered above 7.5%. When we reviewed her full daily routine, I identified multiple coffee-related mistakes. She drank sweetened coffee with milk every morning, paired afternoon coffee with sugar-filled biscuits, and avoided regular movement due to persistent heavy leg fatigue. Together, we built an uncomplicated daily wellness plan. Morning routine: wait 45 minutes after waking, eat 1 boiled egg, then enjoy plain black coffee mixed with cinnamon pre-lunch ritual. 1 small unsweetened coffee cup 20 minutes before midday meals. Physical activity: 25-minute brisk walks 3 weekly in the afternoon, followed immediately by a plain coffee, serving full elimination of sweetened afternoon coffee and sugary biscuit snacks. 6 weeks later, Donna returned to my clinic with an unforgettable smile. Her HbA1c had dropped from 7.5% to 6.8%, and her fasting blood glucose registered at 109 milligrams per deciliter. She told me, "Doctor, I woke up with steady natural energy for the first time in years." We did not alter her prescription metformin dosage. We only restructured how she consumed coffee each day. Now, I need to highlight hidden coffee additives that silently sabotage every metabolic benefit we've covered so far. These are your coffee's invisible metabolic enemies. All added sweeteners, white refined sugar, brown sugar, demerara sugar, raw honey, or any liquid syrup. Any sweetener mixed into coffee creates an instant glucose surge that completely neutralizes chlorogenic acid's protective effects. The 2025 Harvard research made this trade-off crystal clear. Sugar-laced coffee loses nearly all diabetes risk reduction benefits. Artificial zero-calorie sweeteners. As I explained earlier, mounting clinical evidence confirms aspartame and sucralose disrupt balanced gut flora, which is non-negotiable for steady glucose metabolism. If you crave a mild sweet flavor, opt for pure natural stevia extract. Current research has not linked it to the same gut-damaging side effects seen in synthetic sweeteners. Mass-produced single-serve instant coffee packets. These convenience products frequently contain hidden added sugar, hydrogenated trans fats, and artificial chemical additives that degrade coffee's nutritional value. Prioritize freshly brewed whole bean ground coffee, ideally 100% Arabica varieties for maximum active compound content. Pairing coffee with ultra-processed refined foods, white sandwich bread, cream-filled cookies, industrial pre-made cakes, and other refined carbohydrate snacks. When you combine coffee with these highly processed foods, their massive glucose spike overwhelms chlorogenic acid's stabilizing capacity, rendering coffee's metabolic advantages useless. Finally, I'll break down what I call the metabolic protection triad. Coffee's glucose balancing advantages multiply exponentially when paired with two additional simple, healthy daily habits. Strategic coffee consumption. Follow the timed, unsweetened brewing method I outlined above to fully unlock chlorogenic acid's blood sugar support. Consistent, mild physical movement. No expensive gym membership required. 30 minutes of moderate speed walking 3 to 5 times weekly drastically improves whole body insulin sensitivity. Working muscle tissue acts as independent glucose drains, clearing excess sugar from your bloodstream without relying on insulin hormones. This finding has been validated in thousands of separate clinical studies, too numerous to list fully here. Sufficient protein at every meal. Protein is the macronutrient with the mildest impact on blood glucose levels. It extends satiety to curb overeating and preserves lean muscle mass, the body's largest organ system for glucose consumption. After turning 60, human protein requirements rise because aging bodies become less efficient at processing dietary protein. Integrate one protein source into every main meal: eggs, lean poultry, fish, beans, natural cheese, or unsweetened plain yogurt. When all three pillars of the triad work in tandem, their wellness effects compound dramatically. Coffee boosts insulin sensitivity, exercise accelerates muscle glucose clearance, and protein smooths out dangerous post-meal sugar spikes. This low-cost, accessible combination requires no expensive specialty supplements or medical equipment. I must offer a critical, honest disclaimer. All the lifestyle strategies outlined in this video are evidence-backed complementary tools to support metabolic health. They deliver powerful auxiliary support, but never replace formal medical evaluation and ongoing clinical monitoring. If you carry a confirmed diabetes diagnosis and take prescription glucose medication, never adjust your dosage or discontinue pills independently without physician approval. Bring this educational information to your primary care doctor, discuss its relevance to your personal health profile, and make all routine adjustments under professional medical supervision. I'll leave you with a quick question. Do you have a parent, sibling, or close friend struggling with elevated blood glucose or living with diabetes? Share this video with them right away. This science-backed guidance could create life-changing improvements to their daily metabolic health. Reliable, research-based health education is one of the most meaningful gifts we can offer loved ones. I want to close with a core belief I've carried throughout my decades of medical practice. Your body is not your adversary. It constantly works to self-regulate, repair damage, and adapt to your daily choices. Elevated glucose, persistent exhaustion, swollen lower legs, these are not random inconveniences, they are clear distress signals your body sends out asking for support. More often than not, the solution your body needs isn't a brand new prescription pill. Sometimes it only demands a tiny daily shift, like restructuring the timing of your morning coffee. Sustainable health does not live inside pharmacy aisles. It's built within the small, repeated habits you follow every single day. In my next video, I'll detail 5 staple foods pre-diabetic individuals need to cut from their diets immediately. These common ingredients silently inflame blood glucose levels, and most people remain completely unaware of their metabolic harm. Turn on channel notifications so you never miss that critical upload. I'm Dr. Richard Ben, and it's been a pleasure walking through this coffee and blood sugar breakdown with you today. Prioritize your own wellness and look after the health of everyone you care about. Your long-term metabolic health is forged by the tiny daily decisions you make. Choose them wisely. Start with one simple coffee routine adjustment today, and your future self will be grateful. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.